I've been a people pleaser my entire life. When I was a kid, I always said yes whenever a classmate or friend needed my help, and that habit stuck with me as I grew up. I would take on tasks that I couldn't handle, going above and beyond for friends and coworkers. Sometimes it had a negative impact on my mental health and overall well-being. I hated saying no to people. Because of this personality trait, I often found myself in one-sided relationships with people who really didn't care about me, the people who lied to me, who took advantage of my kindness. And in my teen years, rather than being alone, I kept friends in my life who weren't actually very nice to me at all. Of all the so-called friends I had who weren't really friendly was my roommate Nicole. She was one of the most toxic friendships I've ever experienced. It took years of mistreatment before I finally stood up for myself and said I'd had enough. And just like that, this girl named Nicole became my roommate. Nicole was never a close friend of mine, but we started hanging out more before things got way too far. Nicole seemed quiet, introverted, and distant in the beginning, and she kept her part of the room clean and didn't make any noise late at night, which I liked about her. Eventually, she and I started talking and we started spending time together outside of our dorm. I quickly realized that everywhere we went, Nicole liked to talk over me in conversation. She didn't really ask me what I was in the mood for when we talked about getting dinner or drinks, for example. She always asked for my advice on her boy problems, and as soon as I helped her, she stopped talking to me and only did when she needed more help. She asked me to drive all the time, but never offered to drive her own car. She planned and expected everyone around her to go along with her plans, no questions asked. I hated these small things about her, but since she was my only friend and I a people pleaser who avoided confrontation better than anyone else, I went along with it, no questions asked. So, we were both in school and we had this group project that we had to work on together. We were supposed to divide the work evenly, but Nicole ended up leaving most of it to me. She didn't contribute much and didn't even bother to review the final project before we submitted it. It was really disappointing because I had put in a lot of effort and it felt like she didn't care about our grades or my hard work. I tried talking to her about it, hoping she would understand and change her behavior, but unfortunately, she didn't seem to take it seriously. So I ended up dropping it and not making it a big deal. Nicole invited me to hang out with her friends for a casual girls' night at a bar, and I met up with them after finishing work.
It's just a few of the girls you know. Low-key.
I got the impression that it was going to be a casual girls' night, nothing more. So I showed up in my casual Friday outfit from work, some jeans, sneakers, and a sweater. I ended up being the only one totally underdressed. It wasn't at a bar. Nicole had made a reservation at a 5-star restaurant. She walked over to me in tall heels and a fancy dress.
Oh, I forgot to tell you it was a nice dinner, didn't I? Crap, I'm sorry.
For a moment, I wondered if she did it on purpose. Would she really do something so bold to me? No, I didn't think so. That wasn't like her. I couldn't believe it, so I brushed it off, and I had a great night. Although I stood out with my outfit among a table of beautifully dressed girls. A few months later, Stephanie invited me to fly with her for vacation in Miami for a concert with the biggest music stars. Since I've never been to a concert before, I definitely said yes. I immediately bought my flight, and since I was out late for the tickets, I found someone online who had extras that I bought from. Both the tickets and the flight cost me about $2,000. She said I didn't need to worry about a hotel because she had a friend in Miami where we could stay over the nights. When we landed in Miami, she called her friend who was picking us up and let her know which terminal we were waiting by.
I'm 10 minutes away.
We're dragging around a white and a pink suitcase. You'll see us.
Us? Who are you with?
My roommate Sarah, she flew with me. Do you have space in your car?
Crap. No, I don't have enough space for everyone. Nick and Mikey are with me. I have to turn around and drop them back off so I can fit you guys. It'll take some time because there's a lot of traffic. Unless you just want to take a rideshare to my house?
It's going to be so expensive. All right, we'll just take an Uber.
Okay, perfect.
Nicole was annoyed. I stood there, angry. Nicole hadn't told her friend that I was coming to Miami with her, and I wasn't thrilled that they knew me as the roommate. I thought she said it was okay if I stayed at her house, I asked. Did you tell her I was coming? Nicole just brushed me off and said,
Her place is huge. It's really not a big deal. Trust me.
I couldn't understand how someone could treat someone else like this. I would never want to make a friend feel like a last-minute addition to my plans and then ignore them after hurting their feelings. But I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't tell her they hurt my feelings, I just went along with it. Oh, you better not think that was it, because the situation was only going to get worse. After the airport, I ignored the hurt feelings and misunderstanding from earlier. Nicole's Miami friend actually lived in a huge house, and I had a bedroom and bathroom to myself. I didn't have to pay for a hotel, which was nice. I focused on being more positive about this trip and forgot on what happened earlier. Also, I was going to see my favorite artist. What could possibly go wrong? That night, we got ready together, just me, Nicole, and her friend Samantha, as a group. Then we drove off in one of Samantha's luxury cars, a Bentley. When we arrived, Samantha introduced us to her other friends and we started hanging out as a big group during the concert. I get to hear Drake, Rihanna, and Ariana play. That felt like the best moment of my life. After the break before Nicki Minaj's performance, Samantha's and Nicole's friends, Amber and Seth, bought us a round of drinks. We chatted while we got wasted, and we laughed a lot. I was having a great time. And then, as it got closer to the start time again, Nicki just announced on Twitter that they were canceling their show. There were some delays at customs at the airport, meaning they missed their flight. They weren't going to perform. Nicole was devastated since she only came to see Nicki. She paced around the small space we had by the stage and cursed her bad luck. And you probably know what she did. She suggested we leave the concert. "No!" I yelled, hardly recognizing my courageous voice. "I'm not leaving. Beyoncé is performing in 2 hours and this is why I came to Miami. Are you just going to leave me here?" But my plea for Nicole to show me some semblance of a true friend wasn't enough. She and her friends were devastated that Nicki wasn't going to perform. And trust me, I felt the same as well, but I was not going to let that ruining our night and the $1,000 ticket for this concert.
We're going to leave, but if you want to ride home with us, you're more than welcome to.
I didn't want to stay alone at a concert in a city I didn't live in. I didn't want to deal with the chaos of trying to find a ride in Miami at the end of the show, while thousands of other concert attendees tried to do the same. It was easier for me if I left the concert with the girls, so I left and missed one of my absolutely favorite artists of all time. Nicole was still upset because she missed her artist, and she couldn't stop talking about it. No one apologized to me for trying to leave me behind. We got home and Nicole immediately perked up, completely forgetting about the heartbreak she was feeling over her band. I went upstairs to shower, and Nicole came into my room and told me to get ready so we could go downtown for drinks.
Let's not waste the night. Let's go out to a bar.
"No thanks," I said. So Nicole and her friends went out and left me in her friend's house alone. The next morning we flew back in silence and we never talked about it. We continued being friends, if that's what you can call it. But we stopped hanging out outside of our dorm room. A few months later, she moved out and I didn't hear from her in over a year. And the only reason she contacted me 1 year later was to ask me to write her a letter of recommendation for a volunteer position she was applying for. I refused to write her that letter, and I never heard from her again. After I ended this friendship, I saw how incredibly toxic she really was. She was never my friend, and being alone would be a better use of my time and energy than spending it with people who were taking advantage of my kindness. If you are still watching this far of the story, this could be the sign for you to take a closer look at your friendship. If your friend is someone who doesn't treat you well, someone who ignores your wants, needs, and expects you to drop everything for them at the last minute, that's a toxic friend. If your friend forgets about your plans or gets upset when you don't pick up the phone but rarely picks up your calls, that's a toxic friend. If your friend regularly invites you for drinks or dinner and then backs out at the last minute, that's a toxic friend, especially if they don't apologize. If you were watching this story and asking yourself why I didn't walk away sooner from such a toxic person, I truly wish I had the courage to. I didn't. Not back then. I accepted less than I deserved from friends and romantic partners all the time. But this is where I drew the line. I was done with toxic people who were disrespectful. Sure, no friend is a perfect friend. People make mistakes. We're only human. It's normal to forget about plans or birthdays and feel like crap afterward. But if there is a constant pattern of, "Oops, sorry, I forgot about you," or "I forgot about our plans," or "I forgot to tell them you were coming," they are not your friend. I was a nice person to others, but it was time to be nice to myself. When you're a people pleaser to a fault, it's common to give the benefit of the doubt to the people you care about. And sometimes it results in your pain, your sacrifice, your mistreatment. This is not okay. If you're the one making the sacrifices and always getting the short end of the stick in your relationship, it is more than just an oversight. The biggest red flag for me was the way I felt around Nicole. When she was with me, I usually felt unwanted, awkward, out of place, and inferior. I felt forgotten and used. A real friend will not go out of their way to make you feel bad. 1 year later, I met my best friends. They're a bunch of pure-hearted people who I can really be myself around and trust and rely on. They are like family to me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Subscribing helps support the channel and lets me know you want to see more content like this. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below with any video suggestions or just to say hi. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Love y'all.